artists, today we are going to learn 3 different techniques for blending when you're using items in the drawing center. First, we are going to learn how to use oil pastel, and we are going to use an extender and tissue paper to blend those. And then we are also going to learn about the ebony pencil, and we are going to use a paper stick. It's a blender stick. In French, it's called a tortillon. So those are the 3 different methods that we are going to learn today: the extender stick, the tissue paper, and the tortillon. The extender stick works similarly to a white pastel. The extender stick does not actually have any color in it. There is no pigment in it. It's not actually white. It's a little bit different, so it just has the oil in it without any color added. Therefore, it does not actually change the color of your oil pastel as you work with it. It's actually just taking the pigment that's in your oil pastel and pulling it out further, or filling in spots that were not hard pressed. So when you're coloring with your oil pastel, if you don't press down very hard, it leaves a lot of little white spaces inside of your color. And sometimes you can go with that effect, or sometimes you need something a little bit more filled in, and so you can either press harder with your oil pastel, which sometimes can waste it, or you could use an extender stick. So an extender, when you use it, you're just going to color just on top of what you've already made, and it's going to pull and blend those colors together. So you see how it's not making it any lighter than it already was. So what I mean is, if you were to use the oil pastel with white, it would actually lighten it quite a bit. So the extender stick is able to blend the color together a little more seamlessly without actually changing it into more of a lavender or a light purple color. And that just allows you to create some seamless edges. It also allows you to blend outward. So if you're using your oil pastel, and let's say that you were wanting it to be dark on this side and light over here, you could draw it very dark over here, and as you go further, you're going to lighten the pressure that you use, okay? Then you're going to take your extender. Now, if it's messy like this, you can just very carefully wipe it off with a paper towel. You're going to take your extender, and you're going to color on top, and it's going to pull that color further and further out. And then you go past, because see, it's picked up some of that purple. You're going to go past where you left off, and it's going to just pull it out seamlessly into a gradient. The tissue paper can also be used to blend the oil pastels together. If you're working on your page and you're filling in especially a large portion where it's not a lot of fine lines and details, the tissue paper is going to be your friend here. So if I wanted to blend these 2 together, I'm going to first start by adding my pigment onto the page, and then I'm going to take my square of tissue paper and I'm going to fold it. Now this is just a scrap that I pulled from the mixed media center. I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to make either a triangle or a square, just something that's easier to hold on to. And you're going to want a nice clean edge. So if you fold it, then you can also refold it. When one part gets dirty, you can fold that into your triangle or your square, and you can add different sides, okay? So you would just unfold parts of it. Now you can get to this clean side, fold it back. Then when that gets dirty, flip it, that kind of thing, okay? So I'm going to take this in my hand, and I like to wrap it around one finger, but you don't have to do this. It just gives me a little bit more control. And what I do is that I'm going to start coloring with that finger, okay? So I just blend back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on that line where they blend, okay? Now if I were to take this and color down here at the bottom where that line of just purple is, then the pink on here would get into that purple. It wouldn't look so nice. So now I'm going to have to fold it again. And I'm going to blend now down here on the purple. Now as you go with the tissue paper, what I have found is that a lot of times the pigment gets left on the tissue paper and not so much on the paper anymore. So you may have to, as you go, add in more pigment from your oil pastel and keep going. Next, we're going to learn about the ebony pencil and the tortillon. So I've already started my drawing here of this shaded sphere. When I'm drawing, I'm going to use a hand. I'm not gonna press down really hard like I was writing. I'm just gonna use a light hand and keep adding in layers as I go. And that's gonna keep me from overshading an area, okay? Once you kind of have your outline, you can start adding some shadows where they would naturally be. You can look up pictures. You can ask me for references. I can help you find different resources to use when looking to see where something should be shaded. But one great tool that you can use it's kind of like a hack. You're going to take the tortillon or the blender stick and you're going to pick up some of the ebony pencil that's already on your page. And do you already see it starting to smudge those lines together so they're not quite so sketchy? So I'm gonna first fill in my really dark shadow down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to pull in some of that dark ebony pencil that's already on my blender stick. And I'm going to pull it up further because it's not just a harsh line. It should be really dark, medium dark, and then really, really light up there at the top where the highlight or where the light hits the object.